What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. Um, I'm sorry about last week's episode. So, as you noticed, I had a clip of SNL up, and it was blocked. There was a strike on it, so I had to remove it. So, if you didn't see it, I know that was a little awkward. And that's what happened. But if you want to see it for yourself, it is on YouTube. It's Highly Demonic is with Lady Gaga, um, sort of friendlies birthday shindig, and she was like summoning some demons and whatnot. That's what music is nowadays. But anyways, if y'all don't know, I'm Dominican and I'm from New York, and I sort of want to like relate more to the Dominican, community, just to sort of like represent a little, but not only Dominicans, like all South Americans, and Caribbeans. So this weekend, I'm hoping every episode from here on out in the future, I have a little, you know, sort of Dominican or South American section where I sort of find some weird or horror like stories. So insert some Dominican ass music right here. All right, let's hop in. So this week's episode is about El Viejo Lolo. If you haven't heard of him, this old man who I believe he's 92, and he lives right outside of a small village. In The village's name is Jarabacoa. Jarabacoa. Let me not say that weird, but yeah, it's a little bit weird to say. So he lives on his own. He doesn't have much relatives. I think he has a brother, and this like these local vloggers sort of make episodes on like random villagers who live in the mountains or ranches, and document how it is, how they live. And many of them are like isolated, and they don't like know how it is up in the real world. Well, you can argue that that is the real world, and the world we live in now is more of like manufactured, man-made. They eat off the land. They hunt. Their houses are a lot made of like this sort of like sheet metal and whatnot. And if you've been to DR or places like this in South America, I guess even Africa and places like that, it's if it's raining, it's so nice. So you can hear all the rain. It's super relaxing. But like, man, the freaking bugs are insane. I sort of remember like at the house I'm in, my an aunt's house in DR, like it's very open. It's not like here where we always has it's always closed off. The windows are closed, door closed. Over there is just it's wide open. Windows open. There's walls that have like holes. So like the wildlife and all that, bugs are all in the house, but it's normal over there. You sort of get used to it. But here, I see something flying in. It's already close that. So that's how it is. So, anyways, like I was saying, they shot an episode on him and how did he end up, living where he lives, and how he's alone, and where are his relatives. And he has a very loving and happy personality. So the episode actually went viral, and the viewers are like, "Yo, like I want to see more of him," and so they did. They shot many episodes of his life, hanging around him, uh, br- bringing food and even remodeling his home. So, which is beautiful because his home was pretty run down, as you can see right here, and just like they made it look pretty nice, you know. And viewers would like fly in or make the drive to visit him, just to meet him. He like he was basically a celebrity at 92. It's crazy. It's never too late. But these places suffer from they don't have money. There aren't ways of making much money. So there are people who struggle a lot in places like these, third world. And one night, some of the viewers, or we assume, or some of the viewers who had saw that the house had been remodeled, snuck up, broke in, and robbed the place. Sort of broke the lock, like messed up with like a hole in the ceiling, and the place looked run down. But it also looked horrible because Lolo, he doesn't have any money to clean up or like for like maintenance, none of that. He's 92, he can hardly walk. So they helped fix up the home. It was horrible. But what happened was a little wild. So shortly after, like a few weeks later, I believe, maybe even a few months later, he actually vanished. They showed up and they were looking for him, and they were like, "Hey, where is he?" They were hitting up some of the villagers, some of the shops at the markets. Have you seen Lolo? Have you seen Lolo? No one's seen him, and he left a dog. So that was odd. There's they sort of wrangle up some more villagers and viewers who would want to help, and they were just looking for him all around the land up close, and just no sight of him. Days, weeks pass by. The villagers are like rounding up and saying a prayer. The news, he's in the media, he's in the news. Everyone's saying, "Oh, have you heard of this old man Lolo who went missing?" And you know how the internet is. And there's like random rumors now, and just like some clickbait saying, like showing as if it was a funeral, that he's dead, and saying all of this other wild shit. And the vloggers who found him originally, who grew closer, saying, "Hey, these are all lies. Let me let you know what is really happening." So months fly by. Mind you, he sort of vanished on December 22nd of 2024, and they hit up the police. They're like, "Could you help us look for him?" They're searching the rivers also, in between rocks, seeing like if he sort of wedged somewhere, he might have slipped. They're searching for miles and miles and nothing. Someone of his age, like, yeah, he's old and he walks slow, but he moves, he moving. But to not find him anywhere is really bizarre. And now I believe it's middle of March and he has yet to be found. There's rumors of, so there was an episode where he was saying that he's seen these Indians, some local native Indians. Like, I don't believe that they really exist, but who knows? In this show, we have an open mind, so maybe, some indigenous um people who live off the land, and no one has actually ever seen him, but he has. And so that was a rumor. So maybe they snatched them up or something. I don't know. They were saying aliens. That's a bit of a reach, but I guess it's not a 0% chance. Who knows? Maybe. Um, my homie mentioned this. I said, "Oh, what if he snatched up for like a ransom and everything?" And he's like, "I haven't heard of a ransom yet. And besides, who has money to like, fork over for him? Like it's a bit far fetched. So it's a mystery. It has not been solved yet. Um, yeah, who knows what might have happened? Um, he seemed he seemed pretty sane, pretty happy, pretty like he didn't seem to have Alzheimer's, but maybe at his age is pretty normal. So I don't know if he just like randomly snapped and just wandered off really far. It's a possibility. Maybe he just wanted to leave, but who knows? If you have any assumptions or what might have happened, let me know below. So last episode, I played a clip. It's Ashley Inc. I'm sure if you have social media, I'm sure you've seen her all over the place. And she mentioned one of her viewers sent her an email, and she, she was an employee at this secret club in Disney, and she didn't know if this was real or not. It's all allegedly. Who knows? But she sort of worked at this place, and in my head, the club is secretive, but it is known about. I looked it up online. Like you see a lot like about the club, but like in life, shit has like another side to it. I believe it to like be like part of the elite the free um the Freemasons, but based on my research about the club, it's a club that is pretty much for people like with like money. Like enrollment fee is like 200 something grand, and then like every year is is 20 grand or something like that for like the membership. You get to eat, free drinks, whatever. um yeah, but like you need to have money for that. But some of my research was interesting. I didn't see a lot on it, at least like weird shit. I didn't see a lot of weird shit on it. So this club was founded by Walt Disney, and many of you ask, was he a Mason? I know I sure as ask that, and so I looked it up. And how do you sign in into the club? It says you don't really like enroll easily. It's like you need to know someone who who invites you. And if you've heard of the of the Masons, that's that's also how it works. You need to know someone who's a Mason, and for them, to bring you in and vouch for you. So I saw that as pretty similar. That's really interesting. And I asked, was Walt a Mason? And it says there's no actual evidence of him being a Mason, but he was demolay, and which is Mason related, honestly. So I don't know like what the weird, like what does that mean exactly? Because clearly He was a part of it. As you can see, an image here. I'll have it up. He is the first one, I believe. No, second one on the right is Walt. What is the Dimole? Dimole International is a youth leadership organization for young men aged 12 through 21 with Masonic origins. It's already there. He was in it at a young age, so they sort of make it seem as if like he didn't move on. Like, once he was 21, like the Demole ended and that's it. I feel like he's already in. He's already involved. Like it's pretty silly. You also have a lot of rappers who were actually in the Demole. A lot of big names. The Masons run the world. So, and that's actually almost all I saw about the club. But I looked a little more and I found some weird shit about Disney. And listen, it is one of the happiest places on earth, essentially. Like, it is a fun place. Like, you have fun. It is very exciting. Good food. And just like running around on the rides, just like it really is exciting. I haven't went in years, but recently I was at what's the name, Disney Springs. So it's just like where like the shops and restaurants are. It's not like actually inside, and even that was like exciting and fun. But shit happens behind the scenes. It's, and I don't want to believe all this, because like, I don't want like no one to be missing, and it ruins your view of it. But shit happens in this world. So let's hop into these.
Recently, there was a story of a 4-year-old little girl that went missing. And I don't know if you've heard about this story, but it's pretty scary.
It's recent?
It's recent. A girl went to Disneyland with her mom. She was 4 years old. They go eat. The mom's like setting up the food, and the little girl's like, I need to go to the bathroom. And the mom let the little girl go by herself.
Bitch, at 4 years old.
That's the first red flag. So she goes to the bathroom, and she said that her daughter was taking longer than usual. And she was like, okay, like this is not okay. I'm gonna go check up on her. As she goes to check up on her, she said that on the floor of the bathroom, there was a door opened, and she saw how a man was going down there taking the little girl. Like the mom literally with her own 2 eyes saw the guy snatching the little girl and go through the floor of the bathroom.
Allegedly. What the fuck? In the bathroom?
In the bathroom. And I guess that as the mom was like trying to get to the door closed. So then she alerted the Disney management, and she alerted the park. Like she made a big deal out of it. They close the bathroom and they go check, and the police and the management said that there was no such thing as like any secret doors or any like tunnels, nothing. They did not find anything. They looked, and they started saying that the mom was crazy, that like she was just hallucinating, and they blamed it on like she has mental health issues, and she was just like going crazy. And they did not find the little girl.
What?
Y se perdió. But people were saying that it's probably like allegedly the human trafficking stuff, that's how they take little kids from Disney, because there has been a lot of minors that go missing.
Yo, that's wild as hell. as wild as hell. And so I heard that this was actually on the news, you know? And I don't know, it's hard to say. I mean it's just like saying like a mom that doesn't know what she saw. It's just like it's just very shit. It's very shady shit. And this one is hard to believe, but it's like it's real. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's hard to believe. Like you look inside and you see a random fucking door in the restroom. I don't know. This is just like it's beyond me. If y'all have heard of it, like let me know if y'all know more. But it's just it's sickening. It's hard to believe, but like, you know, as of like 2020, when the, you know what happened, that white man who had an island, this shit really happens. This shit really happens. Like it's not like far fetched anymore. It's like we know there's like shady shit happening in the US, and the numbers show that, you know. I have another one here that's pretty similar, and this one it happened overseas, which is hard because like the laws are not the same out at sea. Let's watch it.
Since the year 2000, nearly 200 people have been reported missing on cruise ships. Only 10% of them are ever resolved, and only 15 to 20% of them are ever reported on. Cruise ships are not legally required to make public the disappearances that happen on their cruise ships, and this makes things very complicated for families who are looking for their loved ones. That is exactly what happened to Rebecca Corium. Rebecca was just 24 years old when she was hired by Disney to work on their cruise ships. She spent a few months at their Disney park in Orlando, Florida to get some training before spending 4 months on a boat that went to the Bahamas. After that 4-month time, she went back to England to spend some time with her family before going back to Los Angeles to get on the Disney Wonder. This is the boat that Rebecca would be working on, and she was hired to work with children. March 22nd of 2011 would be the last time Rebecca was ever seen. Rebecca was seen on CCTV footage in the employee lounge talking on an internal phone line. This was about 5:45 in the morning. She is seen wearing men's clothing and looking visibly distressed. Rebecca would hang up the phone and simply vanish into thin air. When Rebecca didn't show up to her 9 a.m. shift, the employees immediately started searching the ship for her. When they were unable to find Rebecca, they did call the Coast Guard, the United States Coast Guard, and also the Mexican Navy. The ship was en route from Los Angeles to Mexico. Under the flag of convenience system, the jurisdiction of the missing persons case would fall under whoever the boat was registered to. And a lot of these cruise lines register these boats in the Bahamas because apparently it is a tax haven. But Disney would not report Rebecca missing for 3 days. They waited 3 days to call the Bahamas Police Department to report Rebecca missing. The Bahamas Police Department did send out one investigator. This one investigator spent 1 day on the Disney Wonder and interviewed 6 of the 950 employees and none of the 2,000 vacationers. It was several days after this that the family was brought out to come check out the Disney Wonder ship, and they were treated as they described as Disney style. They were brought to the boat in blacked out car and were brought into the back entrance of the boat and then allowed to search the area. They were also shown CCTV footage of Rebecca where she did appear to be fine. The captain told Rebecca's family that he believed that Rebecca had been swept up by a rogue wave on deck 5. But when the family was brought to deck 5, it was on the bridge of the ship and there was an employee swimming pool, and the entire area was guarded by a 6-foot tall wall. They were then taken to Rebecca's cabin, where they showed her family a flip-flop that they had allegedly found on deck 5 that allegedly belonged to Rebecca. The very next day, Rebecca's family watched as the Disney Wonder set out for another cruise, a brand new cruise with a whole new set of passengers. Allegedly, they put out a little memorial on deck 5 for Rebecca and had like a little ceremony for her, but it seems like they just kind of want to sweep this under the rug, while the Bahamas police did still consider it an open investigation. Rebecca's family is obviously very upset with how this investigation unfolded. I would have been too. But according to Rebecca's father, when they alerted the American Coast Guard and the Mexican Navy, it seems like Disney might have given them the wrong coordinates, so they were searching the wrong area of the ocean. On top of that, allegedly, it was Disney's policy to turn the boat around if they thought someone had been swept up by a rogue wave, and this is not something that happened. Now, I am unsure if that is official, if that is Disney's policy, but that's what was being reported on. The family did hire a private investigator to look into Rebecca's disappearance, and he was able to find that the CCTV footage that the family was provided seemed to be cropped so that the timestamp was taken out of it. The private investigator was also able to find that the CCTV footage was not in the location that Disney claimed it to be. They claimed that this all happened on deck 5, but it was more than likely on deck 1, nowhere near where Rebecca was supposedly swept away by this rogue wave. But the family has asked for copies of the CCTV footage, and they have never been provided it. And this sandal that allegedly belonged to Rebecca that was found on deck 5 wasn't even her shoe size, and it wasn't the style that she would normally buy. And allegedly, the cabin that they were taken to investigate, when they were able to board the ship, that wasn't even Rebecca's cabin. When other Disney employees have been asked about Rebecca's disappearance, they've said that it just simply didn't happen, and that was the answer that they had to give. There was one coworker that implied that Rebecca might have done this to herself because of a messy relationship that was going on, but her family denies this. They say that Rebecca would never do something like this to herself. And then in 2016, there was a pair of ripped shorts that were found among Rebecca's personal effects, and her family believes that there might have, or that this could point to a sign of struggle or something happening before her disappearance. And just months after her disappearance, there was activity in her bank account, and also there were changes made to her social media platforms, like password changes. But there have been no signs of Rebecca since, and she simply vanished into thin air, and it seems like all of this is just being covered up. But
yeah, that's real sus. That's real sus. Now, if you notice here, now, if you can listen, businesses and enormous ones like them, right? Like who have a city in Florida almost, it's almost like a city with its own rules. You have networks, you own ESPN, you have ships. It's like yeah, they move shady. It's like money first. If there's an issue, it's obviously hidden. Like, you've seen a few clips now that like explain like this shit happens. They make shit, but this didn't happen. I'm sorry, you didn't see it. I feel like, yeah, something happened. A rogue wave. And there was like a 6-foot wall, And then like the sandal wasn't her size. Yeah, they say she wouldn't freaking wear that. They saw some ripped shorts, but the weirdest one of them all was the edited footage. And those are all red flags. But I don't know what might have happened on a ship, but like I'm trying to see like what, like how are you snatched up on a ship if you were, or like if like, you know, or something happened and you were sort of passed out like overnight, maybe, and shipped off. I don't know, like it's just such a like a bizarre scenario.
You might want to think twice before getting a job at Disney. It may seem like the happiest place on earth, but employees have shared just how hard and demanding the job really is. They also have shared some really dark secrets about Disney, from a secret underground tunnel system that you can get lost in, to a number of weird deaths that have happened at the park. Let's talk about these and more only in today's video. Starting off this countdown, we have the secret tunnel system. I know I've talked about this before, but Walt Disney created a whole underground tunnel system for the characters to have a break, and it's for them to secretly get around the park without walking everywhere in costume. This way, this all preserves the magical feel of Disney. But some employees shared what really goes on down there. First off, they said that the tunnel system is fairly confusing, and on a number of occasions, people have gotten lost down there. One employee said that they had just got a job playing a Disney mascot character and went down into the tunnels and had no clue where to go. He went to ask other employees for help, but since he was new, they kind of just brushed him off. Another employee revealed that some of the cast members like to get it on during their breaks down in the tunnel system. So while you're up above having fun, they're down below having fun. Just in a different way, if you understand what I'm getting at. Coming in at number 9, we have the waiting lines. But before I go any further, if you guys are liking this video so far, make sure to give it a big thumbs up because it really helps us out. I think the one flaw about Disney are its lines. Seriously, nobody's got time for that. But a couple of years ago, a huge scandal broke out involving Disney and their waiting lines. Basically, rich families were paying tour guides that have access to these special passes for the disabled. Basically, with this pass, you get brought right to the top of the line because Disney wants guests with disabilities to have a great time. But wealthy, able people were abusing this, which is absolutely sickening. Can't believe people were actually doing this just to scam the system. Moving on to number 8, we have the overnighter. For this next point, let's move back along to Disney's tunnel system. So remember I talked about how new employees often get lost down in the tunnels? Well, there's this creepy urban legend about this happening to a new employee. So he finished his shift and went down to the tunnels to change. As he was making his way out, the lights in the tunnel shut off, and he was in the complete darkness. Now, he had trouble already finding the exit with the lights on. Now with the lights off, it was even more difficult. He ended up wandering around the tunnel system for hours before collapsing from exhaustion. He ended up staying there overnight. His coworkers found him in the morning. He was freezing cold and super scared. So now this story is kind of used to scare new employees. In our 7th spot, we have the suspicious death. So in 2012, a man's body was found near the Mickey and Friends parking structure at Disneyland. Police just assumed the man took his own life, but no witnesses ever reported seeing this man jump. Now what's weird is that I tried to search more into this case, but I couldn't find anything. We don't know what truly happened to this man and how he passed away, which is a little suspicious to me. In our 6th spot, we have Yes Man. So this story was shared by a former Disney employee that worked near the Indiana Jones ride. So his job was to dress up as an adventurer and just stand around. But he said he was often attacked by kids, and Disney told him that he just kind of had to take it. So these kids would often be super psyched to go on this ride, and so they were in costume and had plastic weapons. He said on a number of occasions, kids would come up to him and literally whip him with their weapons. Or he would get asked to duel, and he always had to say yes. So kids would just be jabbing him with their plastic swords. Yeah, that's not a job I would like. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with Winnie the Pooh gets sued. I thought that was so clever. Like, I was typing that and I came up with that and I'm like, pat on the back. Good job, Lindsay. Anyway, in 1978, a guest at the park sued Disney and a cast member, claiming that the cast member playing Winnie the Pooh slapped their daughter. In 1981, their case was brought to court, and the cast member showed up in the Winnie the Pooh costume. He argued that their daughter was tugging on his costume, he turned around and accidentally knocked her over. And then in court, he proceeded to show the jury his costume's arms, saying it's not even physically possible for him to do that in the first place, you know, with his little limited movement. In the end, Disney ended up winning, but still, what a wild day at court. And I love how he showed up in costume. Coming in at number 4, we have the Deadly Ride. On June 26, 2007, a female guest passed away on the Rock and Roller Coaster avec Aerosmith ride at Disneyland Paris. After the ride was done, people noticed her unconscious. The paramedics arrived, but failed to revive her. Sadly, she passed away. Now, in articles, it said that the ride wasn't going to reopen until they found out how and why she passed. But there's no follow-up articles outlining what went wrong on the ride. And it's not like she was 80 years old and had health conditions. No, she was fairly young. I just wish Disney let us know what happened, because the ride has been up and running ever since, but no official statement was ever released. In our third spot, we have Disney's jail. Did you know that Disney has its own specific jail for criminals? Yeah, if you're caught breaking any of Disney's rules, you'll be escorted to Disney jail. Employees describe it as an underground room with bars on the windows. There's no bright colors or Mickeys decorating the area. Now, what causes you to be sent to Disney jail? Well, if you get too rowdy or too intoxicated at the park, if you smoke certain substances at the park, or if you're caught shoplifting. You get the picture. Disney is actually very strict when it comes to this. People caught shoplifting aren't even given a warning sometimes. Instead, they're just sent straight to their jail. From there, you can be fined, kicked out of the park, banned from ever coming back to the park, or all of the above. In our second spot, we have Blake Lively's arrest. Believe it or not, but actress Blake Lively was once sent to Disney jail. Yeah, so basically her and her brother both snuck into Disneyland's park. What they did is put hairspray on the stamps of somebody that came out of the park and then put their hands together, and that transferred the stamp. Then they got to go in the park for free. Except Blake and her brother were caught by an undercover Disney cop and sent to Disney jail. I'm telling you, Disney has way too many undercover cops. Like, they're everywhere, which is a good thing for safety, but also kind of a bad thing because, you know, they're watching your every move. And
Yeah, I don't know. Blake is a liar, so I'm not sure if hers is real, if it's really happened. No, I'm just playing. I don't know. But yeah, as you can see, if there's some, weird shit that happens, it's hidden. It's really suppressed. So it's hard to find in the news, So that's the reason I didn't have, I researched and it was just I didn't see anything. They really suppress it. They don't play around with that. So, anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please like and subscribe, and I have the email below. If you have any supernatural, something that happened to you, email me below. I'd love to play it on here. I'll see you guys. Peace out.